I finally wrapped up a project I've been meaning to do for quite some time, shop storage, and I put everything else on hold to force myself to finish it up, and I have got to say, this is something I should have done a long time ago. I have a French cleat system here, and I made custom tool holders for each of the power tools and some of the more commonly used tools here, and also the screwdrivers and such. And everything, generally speaking, has a home, has its place, and I have more room to work. It's not as crowded. I don't trip over things. And again, if this is something you've been putting off, I would recommend doing it now because it makes a world of difference. During that project, though, I stopped to make a video on this stop block for my T-slot fence here. So this is a Grizzly G0771Z table saw. I made a video reviewing it, and I also, in this video for the stop block, talked about how to find the exact middle between the bottom slot and the top slot, because that's where you need to drill out your holes. Using a pair of calipers, I determined that that distance was 1.165 inches. So whatever you want to mount to the fence, the formula works out like this. You take the thickness of whatever you're going to mount and measure it with some calipers, here to here. In this case, this router table fence that I'm going to remount to the table saw fence was 2.288 inches. So I subtract off 1.165, center of both those T-slots, and get 1.123 inches. Now you want to take that number, whatever you get, and divide it by 2, because that is the distance you're going to mark a line from the top and the bottom. That is where you're going to drill out your holes. So however thick the thing you're going to mount is, minus 1.165 divided by 2, that's what you scribe a line from the top and the bottom. So I'm going to scribe a line 0.5615 using my calipers on my router table fence. Okay, so taking my time, I dialed in these calipers to almost 0.5615, 0.561. That should be fine. And I'm going to use that measure to strike a couple of lines on my router table fence. Alright, I inked over those lines and also measured in the same distance from either side. So now I'm going to punch where those lines intersect with my little punch. So it turns out I kind of fucked up the planning here. These top holes went through just fine, but the bottom holes actually screw through into the bottom of the fence. So I'm gonna try just attaching it at the top holes, 1 and 2, and see if that should be enough. I think it should, but we'll check to see. Alrighty, moment of truth. Let's see if this thing fits. Well, it slides in pretty good, and it looks like the gap along the top is pretty consistent. I sized this thing to sit just below this fence, and it looks like it is doing that pretty consistently throughout. It might dip down a little further over here, but I don't think that's really going to present a problem. So let me tighten these up. Well, that actually worked out pretty much like I'd hoped. It is attached. 2 points of contact are more than enough, so I'll just stick with those. And now I can start using this just like I did. So, 2 things attached, 2 things that worked out pretty well, both at that 1.165 inch interval. So I think, for my saw at least, that's going to be what I'll use going forward to attach things to the fence.